would be fairer. Seeing neither of us can taste it.
Yeah,
I think it might be fairer to just toss it in. Use that colour.
Yeah.
Up to the wind, how it lands.
Welcome back, folks. Apologies for the break in commentary. Been catching up on the world of croquet. And not much has been happening on the lawns. We've got cameras on down the front, but up the back here we have an interesting game going on. This is still game one of the day. So Jim Nichols from Wagga Wagga and Stephen Richards in screen at the moment from Canberra. The score is 25-23 to Stephen Richards, who's playing red and yellow has been taken off the lawn. So yellow has made all its hoops and hit the peg, which means it's removed from the lawn. So all that red has to do now is to hit the peg, and Stephen Richards will be the winner. However, he's had about 8 attempts at hitting the peg from short and long distances so far and has missed all of them. And his opponent, Jim Nichols, has got his ball most of the way around. So black has made all its hoops and is now on the peg. Just needs to hit the peg to be taken off the lawn. And blue has one more hoop to make. But blue has just failed hoop 12. So Stephen Richards will have at least one more shot, probably 2. But it's a very tense game. I notice Jim Nichols already had a couple of close ones this tournament, losing to Stephen Forster, I think it was yesterday morning or Saturday evening, not quite sure which, but losing to Stephen Forster 26-25, which is as close as you can come in a croquet game. Stephen Richards here looks like he's shooting at blue, the blue ball, as opposed to the peg. Blue ball is further away, but it's a double-sized target. Peg's about 1 3/4 wide, and the croquet ball about 3 3/4 inch. He's missed by about a foot, but he's ended up somewhere which is not too near either of Jim Nichols' blue or black. So Jim will have a chance to finish the game here if he wants to play blue. Only got one hoop to make, but the downside is that if he plays blue, it is harder for him to get going. So blue has to go through that hoop in centre screen, so the hoop with the red top, and he has to go through it coming towards us, so towards the southern end of the lawn. Now blue looks like it's round to the side of the hoop, so it can't go through. So Jim will have to hit black to get going. So what he'll probably do is hit black, at which point he'll have 2 shots. He'll then come across down to red and put red somewhere miles away, so that if he does something wrong, the opposition ball is nowhere nearby and has a very slim chance of doing anything if he gets back in. So the aim here would be to go somewhere near red with the blue ball, and he's going to put black over in the corner, also which will probably be the other end of the lawn from where red ends up. Now after he hits red, he'll have 2 more shots, and he'll try and get blue in front of its hoop with the first shot, and then through the hoop with the second. It's going to be very difficult to do from there, though. It's a bit difficult to judge distances, but from the hoop that he's going for, which is just off the right of the screen on the red top, to where he is approximately 11 to 12 yards, so about 9 metres away. And it's very hard to stop a ball within, let's say, a 1 foot circle, which is about what he's aiming to do, to be in a position to run that hoop on the next shot, and it's very difficult to do that from such a distance. So what he'll probably do is send red off to the far corner of the lawn, top left, and then come and retreat down near his partner ball, the black, just on the right of the screen, and set up there and wait for the opponent to miss the next shot. So he's playing for the next turn, hoping that the opponent will miss a difficult shot and that he will get an easy start for himself, as opposed to taking the difficult options here. However, things have gone a bit wrong. So red has gone off the lawn at the other end of your screen, and since it has gone off the lawn in a stroke which began with two balls in contact, that is the end of turn, which means that Jim Nichols, instead of having an extra shot to pair up to put his blue and black together to give himself an easy shot next time, has to leave the balls where they lie, and if he gets another chance, everything will be a long way away. But give Stephen Richards another chance to hit the peg. As it is, he probably won't hit hard at the peg, because if he misses, his red ball would end up near black, which is the opposition ball, which is down near the southeastern corner of the lawn. So he'll just hit it up at such a weight that if he misses, he'll be nearby and can easily hit the peg on the next shot. So Jim Nichols here has basically only one choice, and that is to give himself to take the shortest shot that's available on the lawn, give himself the best chance of getting in, which he's done successfully. Having hit red, he has a chance to carry on. So he's probably going to bring blue down near black, probably to the southern side of black, so that's to the near side as we look at it on screen. The aim of then hitting blue onto black in such a way that it will go near the hoop that he's approaching. However, he seems to be so close to the hoop up there that he can't do that. So he's just going to play a little defensive shot. So he's going to put red behind this hoop in such a way that red cannot hit the peg from where it lies. Remember, red only has to hit the peg to win the game. The other ball's already been pegged out. There's only 1 point remaining for Stephen Richards to take the game. However, if there is a hoop in the way, it's very difficult to hit the peg, which means the only way that Stephen Richards can continue accumulating shots after the first one is to hit either blue or black, which are the opposition balls, and if he misses either of those, it's almost certainly game over. So he's got a choice to either take a long shot, and if he misses, probably give the game away to Nichols, the opposition, or to play some sort of defensive shot, maybe go off into a corner, lurk somewhere where he thinks that he might get a better chance later on. Although given that the opposition's only got one hoop to make, there may well not be a later on. Now up on lawn 4 there are a few very gentle slopes over the course of the lawn, and especially on a long shot like this, the chances are that even if you hit it dead straight, it will deviate slightly over such a long distance, probably 25 yards, something like that. A bit of a breeze too, that may make a difference. So the chances of him hitting this, even though he's a very good shot, are probably only about 1 in 4, but we will see. Amazing things happen at the end of important games. And it's a very narrow miss there for Richards, which means Jim Nichols has an easy start and only one hoop to make with his striker's ball, which will be blue. And then he has to hit both balls onto the peg, and he will keep himself in contention for the Eddie Hunt Trophy, which is the trophy presented to the winner of the first 8's in this tournament. The results so far today, Stephen Forster kept himself in the tournament lead by beating Dwayne McCormick earlier, down on lawn 2. The score there was 26-17. Alison Sharp beat Trevor Bassett 26-14. That was played on lawn 1. The other two first 8's games still remaining are this one, so Jim Nichols and Stephen Richards. Stephen Richards being ahead, but Jim having a chance to finish this turn. And up on lawn 3 there's a long drawn-out battle going on between Eric Ayling from Western Australia and Kevin Beard from Victoria. Scores there, I'm not exactly sure what they are. Kevin Beard certainly has 21 hoops. Eric Ayling will have something very similar. But that's been going on for nearly 3.5 hours now, which is quite a while for a game played between players of this calibre. Conditions are a bit tricky with the wind, and they're playing on some of the roughest lawns at the venue. They're not particularly rough, but they do have noticeable slopes over a long distance. Also, neither player is playing to their best, and they're both playing to a similar standard. So this is one of the downsides of untimed croquet games. They can draw on. So thank you for watching and staying interested for all this time. Jim Nichols here made the last hoop, so all he has to do is to hit both of these balls onto the peg, and he's missed another short shot and will be something in the order of furious with himself for doing that, giving his opponent yet another attempt to hit the peg. That could well have been the shot that loses him the tournament. Now he's had 2 or 3 of those already, and he hasn't lost it yet. But the opposition, Stephen Richards, who's walking along from the left here, is a very good, solid competition player, and he's got to hit this peg sooner or later. He's had about 10 shots at it now. Got his mallet up in the air, meaning he wants a referee. So the referee will come out here for the purpose of determining whether or not the red ball hits the peg. Now, most of the time it's obvious, but occasionally if it just snicks it, if it glances it by a millimetre or so, there's no way you can tell by either sight or sound from the position at which you strike the ball. And he hits it smack in the middle. So Stephen Richards wins that game, which is very good for Stephen, not great for Jim. It also means that the winner of the first 8's here at the President's 8's at Canley in Victoria is determined. Stephen Forster is now 2 games ahead of the rest of the field with only 1 game to play, so he will be crowned the winner of the Eddie Hunt Trophy for 2018, which is a fantastic effort for Stephen. I believe Stephen has won this before. I will look that up in just a moment, but he's certainly been a very consistent player throughout the week. And for those of you into technical statistics, he's had 4 peeling turns out of his 11 wins, which is very good. Next best is 2 peeling turns from Trevor Bassett of New South Wales. Peeling turn, if you're not a croquet nut, just means it's a technical way in which a game is finished. It's like if you're watching cricket, if you say a bowler is on a hat trick or something like that, it doesn't necessarily tell you much about the state of the overall match, but it's just an interesting stat of a method of an interesting stat about how certain aspects of the play played out. Or if you say somebody got out for a duck or something like that. So, coming back across to Eric Ayling from Western Australia, who seems to have got the wind in his hair, metaphorically speaking at least. Playing Kevin Beard here. And this may well be a finish for Eric Ayling. He's certainly got one of his two clips on the peg, and yes, he will be attempting to peg out, so to hit both of his balls onto the peg in the middle of the lawn. If he does that successfully, he will win. If he doesn't do that successfully, we will be still entertained for some time. He's probably about 4.5 yards out from the peg, trying to line both balls up as accurately as possible. Some players like getting down on the ground and looking at it in a rather curious way. Others just stand about 10 yards behind the ball to try and see from a distance. Now he's got to hit this, well, his best chance is to hit it firmly and dead straight. Hitting it gently, even over that distance, the ball may turn off in the wind, but that was perfectly successful. So Eric Ayling there beating Kevin Beard 26-21 to take the first game of the morning, which completes the first round of play for the first eights today anyway. So we have one more game left on each of these four courts in the middle, or in the first eights category. There are other games going on the outside courts at the moment. Most of those or all of those had time limits of 2.5 hours imposed upon them at the beginning of the day, just in case something like this happened. And so they're all in round 2. So in the second eights at the moment we have Murray Baum and David Luxmore, each on 11 wins, and they play each other in the final round, so there's definitely going to be a winner there, no deciding game needed. David Luxmore, this is his first attendance at the President's Eights. He's a Queensland player who's relatively new to competition play, but is loving it and improving rapidly. Murray Baum, similar kind of situation. He's from South Australia, has gone in leaps and bounds, and I seem to have been wrong. I've called it badly. Eric Ayling has not yet beaten Kevin Beard. So that front ball must have missed the peg on the first shot early on, which means it probably turned off in the wind. He didn't hit it that hard, so it was more than possible that would happen, although I thought I saw the referee nod to confirm that it had hit the peg, but obviously not. So Eric Ayling, to win this game against Kevin Beard, must hit black onto that peg. Ball which is 3 inches and 10/16 of an inch wide onto a peg which is 1 3/4 inches wide. Referee is a better target, but in this wind could be either. And that is a very solid hit and a victory for Eric. I think it's his first in the second round of this competition. well deserved though. A very good player who hasn't had a great run this tournament, but still one game to go for Eric. So back down to the second 8. So we've got David Luxmore and Murray Baum playing. If I could see them from my commentary position, I'd give you an update on their game, but I can't. Must be around the corner. But we do have the third 8s still continuing. So we have Kerry-Ann Organ from Victoria and Virginia Arney from South Australia are each on 11 wins now. That's out of 13 games, so winning 11 out of 13 is very impressive in this kind of strength of field. Virginia Arney is playing Gail Hopkins from Victoria in her final game, and Kerry-Ann Organ is playing Shirlene McBride from South Australia. So we've got a South Australian playing a Victorian and a Victorian playing a South Australian to decide the winner, or at least whether or not there'll be a playoff in the final round. Now Kerry-Ann Organ playing Shirlene McBride. They've already played once in this competition. Kerry-Ann snuck a win by 3 hoops. She won on time, 20 hoops to 17, 2 days ago. And Virginia Arney beat Gail Hopkins in her previous game 2 days ago, also with a relatively close score of 17-11. Now Kerry-Ann's winning margins have been a lot bigger throughout the tournament. So on net hoops, that's hoops scored for and against, she's a long way ahead of the rest of the field. But as you might have heard Robert Fletcher explaining earlier, we don't have count back to net hoops in this competition. So if at the end of this final round players are on an equal amount of games, then they play a decider if it is to determine first place. If you are equal 7th in your block, you won't play a decider. So if there are any players listening in the clubhouse downstairs, I hope that informs you.